There are moments when life knocks you down so hard, you start to believe you'll never get back up. You feel like a failure, too broken, too far gone. But here's the truth. God never gave up on you. Not when you fell, not when you stopped believing, not even when you gave up on yourself. His love stayed. This moment is not the end of your story. It's a new beginning. Let God speak life into your spirit again. You were not made to stay down. You were made to rise again and again, with His strength holding you. What would it mean to truly believe God still sees purpose in you, even after the fall? Shame has a way of convincing you that your failure is final. But with God, nothing is final unless He says so. This reflection invites you to see your setbacks not as dead ends, but as places where grace begins. You may have fallen, but you are not forgotten. You may feel weak, but His strength is made perfect in that very weakness. Rising again isn't about willpower, it's about surrender. Let go of the lie that you're disqualified. God's hand is still extended, steady and sure, ready to lift you. What lie do you need to let go of in order to reach for God's hand again? You don't have to rise perfectly, you just have to rise honestly. God isn't asking for polished prayers or flawless steps. He's asking for a willing heart. Even if all you can do is whisper help, He hears it. This reflection reminds you that God isn't waiting at the top of the mountain. He's kneeling beside you in the valley, ready to walk with you every inch of the way. Your comeback doesn't begin when you feel strong. It begins the moment you let Him into your weakness. What's one small step you can take today to rise with God's help, not your own strength? If you feel God's whisper today, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to hear more. There's no shame in falling, only in believing you have to rise alone. God never intended for you to carry your pain in silence or heal by yourself. This reflection invites you to see rising not as a sign of your strength, but as a testimony of His faithfulness. Every scar, every setback, every tear, He's been there through it all, holding you even when you didn't feel it. You're not starting over. You're continuing a story that grace has been writing all along. Don't let failure have the final word when God has already spoken love over your life. What part of your story is God rewriting with His grace right now? Sometimes rising again means learning to believe again, believing that God still has a plan, still has a place for you, still calls you by name. You may feel like too much has been lost, but nothing is ever truly lost in God's hands. This reflection reminds you that He restores what's broken, revives what's dry, and renews what feels dead. Even if it's been a long time, even if you don't know where to begin, God does. His invitation is simple. Take His hand, trust His timing, and rise one breath at a time. What part of your life are you ready to trust God to restore, even if it seems beyond repair? Rising again doesn't always feel like a victory. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's messy, but every step forward, no matter how small, is a step of courage, and God honors it. He sees the effort you make when no one else does. He celebrates the progress that others might overlook. This reflection reminds you that your healing isn't rushed and your story isn't over. Let grace carry you when you're tired. Let hope whisper louder than fear. You're not who you were when you fell. You're becoming who God always knew you could be. How would your perspective shift if you saw progress through God's eyes, not the world's? You are still standing, not because life has been easy, but because God has never let go. He's been there in every fall, every tear, every silent prayer. And now, He's calling you to rise again, not in your own strength, but in His grace. You were never forgotten, never disqualified. This is not the end of your story. It's the turning point. Step into the life He's still writing for you. You are loved. You are chosen. And by His power you will rise again. What would change in your life if you fully believed that God never gave up on you, not for a single moment?